Hey everybody, it's Allie from Padfoot Palms, Poodles and Pals. So if you're wondering why I was freeze framing this silly expression on my face, it's because it doesn't give me an option to like choose an image to be the first thing that you see when you're scrolling. So anyway, so I was just being silly there. So I'm starting a little bit early tonight because I have a ton of information that I want to go over with you guys. So we've already got a couple of people tuning in. That's fantastic. If you guys would just drop me a comment down in the comment section so that I know the comments are working, then I'll go ahead and get started with the live session because I've got a whole table full of stuff to go over. So if somebody could just drop me a comment and let me know if the comments are working. I know sometimes it doesn't work, so I hate to start and then find out that people can't ask questions. Somebody comment. Do, do, do. Okay. I'm hoping the comments are working. Let me just check here. Okay, my comment popped up. Okay, if you just joined, if somebody will just drop me a comment so that I know the comments are working for you guys so that I can see them. Sometimes Facebook, it doesn't work. Hey, everybody. Okay, we got a lot of people joining early. That's fantastic. If somebody just drop me a comment so that I know the comments are working, I'll go ahead and get started. Hey, we've got a comment. Thank you. All right, we're good. Okay, so I started a little bit early because I have a ton of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about. So I figured I'd start a little bit early. That way we have plenty of time to get to everybody's questions. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Okay, so if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm just gonna do like I normally do and just start talking about stuff. And then you can ask questions about anything that you'd like. And I will pause periodically and kind of go back through and answer questions. So with saying that, let's jump into the fun. So first up on my list here, I wanted to talk about no hide, or pressed bones. And I have an example here for you. So this is an end bone. I actually purchased this so that I would have something to show you. So I posted a couple of different lists of bones and chews and healthy options for your dogs. And I got a lot of questions about why these type of bones are not recommended, right? So we're talking about end bones, nyla bones, right? They make that edible nyla bone, greenies, dental sticks. I can't think of all of their names, but you get the idea. Basically, they are ingredients that are pressed into the shape of a bone, right? It's not a real bone, is what I'm saying. Or they're pressed into some kind of stick-like shape. So the reason why I bought this one to talk to you about the ingredients is because all of these type of chews have very similar ingredients, and none of them are good for your dog. So right off the bat, we've got rice flour, brown rice flour, vegetable glycerin. Okay, so your dog is more than likely getting some type of grain or starch in their food already, especially if you're a kibble feeder. If you're not a kibble feeder, then you may be adding grains to their food. They don't need more on top of it. Right? This is just more carbs, which means more sugar, which means your dog is going to eat this and then they're going to have like this blast of energy, right? Because it's all this sugar essentially in their system. So that's your first 3 ingredients right there. Then we've got gelatin. Okay, dogs don't need gelatin. They're using it as a thickener here. Water, which of course is fine. Chicken, which by itself is fine. Powdered cellulose. Okay, so if you want to know more about powdered cellulose, I highly recommend that you check out my problematic ingredients list. It's located in the files, and I go over some different variations of cellulose, what they are, and why they're not good for your dog. So again, another ingredient that your dog doesn't need to be eating, especially on a regular basis, because you have to remember that most people purchase a chew like this, and then they may purchase 4 or 5, 6 of them, right, and give them to their dog every day, every other day, right? So it makes a difference. Then we've got natural flavors, right? You're going to see this in a lot of pet products, natural flavors. What does that mean? That's a great question. It means anything that they want it to mean. These type of terms, right, natural, are not regulated. It's not like ingredients in human food. So they can say natural flavors, but really what that means is any number of chemicals or additives that they put in to entice your dog to eat it. So we have no idea what that is. And there would be no way to know because they don't have to tell you. So, calcium carbonate, which is calcium, which again by itself would be fine. And then we've got the dreaded Carrageenan. Now, if you have been a member for any length of time, you have heard me talk about Carrageenan and how it is potentially linked to canine cancer. It is a naturally occurring substance. It comes from seaweed, but it's heavily processed. And so what happens sometimes when humans meddle with things is we can take something that occurs naturally in nature, right, like seaweed, and we can, cook it to death, turn it into a powder, right? Then it becomes a thickener for a product like this. You see Carrageenan a lot in canned dog food. So always, 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 no matter what you're purchasing, whether it's a chew, a bone, a canned food, a bag of treats, always look at the ingredients, right? And if you see that Carrageenan on there, just skip it. So, and then it gets down into some of the oils. So we've got herring oil, fennel, sunflower. Again, that's a lot of oil. The herring oil by itself would be great, but all of that other oil, your dog doesn't need that. That's a recipe for diarrhea. And by the way, it wouldn't be a live session with me if we didn't talk about poop. So there you go. I'm starting you out early. Okay, and last but not least, brewer's dried yeast, which if you would like to know more about yeast, you should definitely check out the problematic ingredients list in the files. So if your dog already is prone to things like ear infections, yeast infections, you would inadvertently be making it worse if you were giving them a chew like this on a regular basis. And that's where a lot of pet parents go wrong, and they don't even know. And I don't fault them for that, because if you don't know, you don't know, right? So that is why these type of pressed bones that come in all kinds of varieties, I don't recommend them, because I haven't found one yet that has good quality ingredients, right? Because they need a bunch of thickeners and grains and garbage in order to press it together into a shape like this. So that was very long-winded. So let me kind of go back here and make sure that I didn't miss anybody's questions. Okay, looks like we're doing good. Okay, don't forget, while I'm talking, if you have questions, it can be completely unrelated to what I'm talking about. Just pop them down there in the comment section and I will go back through and answer your questions. Okay, so next up, one of the things that was discussed earlier in the group that I wanted to go over is dog parks. Now, I am not a dog trainer. I'm very keen on dog behavior, and I'm big on dog safety. So I just want to be upfront about that. My specialty is in canine nutrition. I would love to be a dog trainer or a dog behaviorist one day, but I don't have any training in that. So this is just my opinion. And it is one that I gleaned from doing a lot of research and listening to trainers and professionals who are in the field. So I made a post earlier today, and I was talking, or I had posted a trainer's video where he was talking about, right here, where he was talking about how dog parks are both not a good idea for your dog and definitely not how you should socialize your dog. And I know that there will be some people who will be upset by that, right? Because they love to go to the dog park. But just hear me out before you tune me out. Dog parks are for people. And let me explain. So when you go to a dog park, you will see groups of people talking, people sitting on their phones, people reading a book, people making videos of their dogs, potentially for a YouTube channel or something like that. People throwing a ball, people, talking to each other, right? It's a social space. What you will also see there is a lot of very, very bad dog behavior that is then learned by other dogs who don't have bad behaviors. You will see a lot of very dangerous situations where there are dog fights. You will see dogs sharing water bowls, which is a recipe for, disaster when it comes to parasites and disease. And you'll see, again, a lot of dog poop, right? Because we all know there's those people that just refuse to clean up after their dog. So again, a recipe for disaster as far as parasites and disease goes. So, the idea of taking your dog to the park is a great idea. The idea of letting your dog loose in an enclosed area with a bunch of other dogs who are not being supervised, who may or may not have had any training or socialization whatsoever, into a group of people who don't know how to recognize canine behavior and stop it before it escalates if there's a problem, people who are distracted, right, by their phones or by reading a book or talking to somebody else, right? That is problematic. So when I posted that and said, this is not, dog parks are not how you socialize your dog, that's where I was coming from. Now, there are some people who are very responsible, who clean up after their dogs, who like to go to the dog park when there's nobody else around, or maybe they have a small dog park in their apartment complex, so maybe there's only 1 or 2 dogs there on a regular basis. I understand that there are exceptions, right, as there are to any situation. So just keep what I said and what he said in the back of your mind. If you are someone in that situation where you have a smaller dog park that you like to go to, 1 or 2 dogs, the people, the dogs, everybody gets along well, right? Okay, obviously that could be an exception to the rule. But most people are going to a large dog park, lots of people, lots of dogs, various sizes, various breeds, various levels of training, chaos. So I just wanted to clarify that. Let me go back up here because I think we got a question. Yes, we did. Okay. Hi, Allie, taking oils. What you recommend for my girl after having her first litter? She has lost lots of her coat. Yes. So, that is completely normal. I actually have a video on the YouTube channel about some supplements that you can add to the diet that will help with that. It's called blowing the coat. And basically what ends up happening is a female dog has a litter of puppies and they consume a lot of her nutrients, right, while she's nursing. Well, then when she stops nursing, her body is kind of in repair mode, right? And so she ends up blowing the coat. It's common amongst all breeds, all types. You can mitigate it to a certain degree because you know it's coming, but you can't prevent it 100%. So your dog is just going to look naked for a little while, and that's okay. So I highly recommend that you watch that YouTube video. It's going to be in the nutrition playlist, and I could probably tell you here if I could get it pulled up fast enough. I can't. Okay. So, anyway, it's in the nutrition playlist and it'll say, supplements for your female dog to grow back her coat, something like that. Something better than what I just said because I'm on the spot. So definitely check out that video. And the other thing you want to take a look at, if you're not interested in adding a lot of fresh ingredients to the food, if you're looking for more of just a one supplement type of deal, check in the announcements of the group. If you go up, sorry, I'll try to make it so there's no glare. If you go up to the top of the group and you see here it says announcements and you click see all 8, and then there's our recommended food list, right? There's our stop sign so people can see it. And then if you scroll down, I've got the New Vet vitamins listed, and I would do the New Vet Plus. There's a powdered option and there's a wafer. The wafer is small enough for small dogs and they think it's a treat. So it's a fantastic option. If you're looking for something that's, easy, you can just give them a vitamin and go from there. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you. I'll check it out. She's my palm, so she looks all skinny. Yeah, it happens. They just look rough for a little while, but the coat just comes back like that. So as long as you're supplementing or adding that vitamin, the coat's going to grow back, no problem. And it is going to happen every time. So like I said, if you want to, order something in advance or get your ingredients together in advance, knowing that she's going to blow the coat, you can go ahead and start to implement that in her diet, and that will help with some of it. Okay, great. Okay, well, I don't see any other questions just yet. I see we've got some more people that have joined us. I'm so glad you guys are here. I started a little bit early because I have a ton of stuff to go over tonight. So if you have a question, please feel free to drop it in the comments and I will be sure to get to it for you. Let me kind of get back on my home screen here. Okay. Next up, I wanted to talk about dog shampoo because we had a question about this earlier. So people were and are often wondering, if I'm out of dog shampoo, can I just use People shampoo? Or can I use baby shampoo? Or can I use Dawn dish soap? Okay, so the answer to all of that is no. Ideally, you would use a dog shampoo that is designed for dogs. Dog shampoo is at a different pH level than shampoo for people, right? Their skin and hair / fur is very different from ours. So I don't recommend just using soap or People soap or even, baby shampoo, which often people will do, because it's not made for dogs. And you may inadvertently cause them to have a rash, dry out their skin very badly, dry out their hair follicles. So, the stuff that we use as humans is designed to strip out a lot of the products that we're putting into our hair, right? The conditioners that we're putting into our hair. So there's a lot of these sulfates and stripping agents, right, that wouldn't be good for a dog's skin or coat. So just keep that in mind. Okay. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about is rehydrating your kibble. So there have been a lot of questions lately, people wanting to really boost their dog's diet, but they're on a budget or they really need to just feed kibble. And so they're looking for some healthy options to add to their dog's food that is both A, not going to break the bank, and B, something that's just readily available that they could get at the grocery store. So if you are looking for information on how to rehydrate, right, either a kibble or a freeze-dried food, then I do have a video that shows you how to do that. The short version is you're going to place your kibble inside of a Tupperware container. You're going to put in a lot of the liquid, whatever liquid that you happen to be using, and then you're going to pop it in the fridge overnight. And when you wake up the next morning, all of that kibble will have soaked up all of the liquid, and you could then serve it as is. You could let it warm up to room temperature, which, dogs will appreciate, especially in winter. You can mash it if you need to. I've had clients that have done this so that they can continue to feed their dog the same food when the dog has had dental surgery. So that's a really great option. That way you don't have to switch their diet to a canned food, which is often what vets recommend, right? Because now you're switching the food. The dog just had surgery. Now they're going to have digestive upset, right? So this is another way that you can pack in the moisture, which aids in digestion, and keep your dog on that same food. So some of the options are goat's milk, just plain water, which people have a tendency to forget about, kefir, broth, either a low sodium broth that does not contain onions or a bone broth. I actually have a video on our YouTube channel that shows you how to make bone broth. I'm a huge fan of that. It's super, super easy to do. And if you do it correctly, you can even turn that bone broth into little treats for your dogs. So definitely check that video out. Some other options are juiced veggies and fruits. Now, I don't want you to run out and buy a juicer. If you happen to have one that you like to use, then you can absolutely use that for your dog. So let's say you've got, you had a really busy week and you've got a whole bunch of celery and cucumber in the fridge that's about to go bad, and there's no way that you and your family are going to eat all of that in the next day or so. Well, you could go ahead and juice it, put that juice to the side, or use it to go ahead and soak some of your dog's kibble or add to their food, as you serve it. But don't get rid of all of the fibrous material that's left over after you juice. Mix that into your dog's food. That's good fiber. Don't waste that. You can even take that fiber and put it into silicone molds with yogurt or kefir or bone broth, right? And pop these in the freezer, just like that video I showed you where I used these to make some little digestive aid yogurt treats. You can use these, use that leftover fiber from your juicing, pop it in here, boom. Frozen dog treat, your dog will love you forever. So, just some things to keep in mind. Okay, let me jump back up here and make sure I haven't missed any questions. Okay, have you used the shampoo from the vitamin line you recommend? I have not. We use specific shampoo for our poodles. So right now with the red poodles, we use the Chris Christensen Red on Red, which is not necessarily a natural product. but it's good for the poodles with their hair, so that's why we use that one. Some of the other ones that I like are the Tropiclean, the Earth Bath is a good one. So yeah, but I have not used the one from the vitamin line. I haven't gotten that far into their products. So if you try it, Crystal, let me know how you like it. Okay, great. Okay. And if you guys are just joining us, don't forget, if you have a question, feel free to pop it down in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rambling. So you decide. Either you get to ask questions and I answer them, or I ramble. Hey, Jessica decided she didn't want to hear me ramble. You go, Jessica. All right, let me see. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks. Cyrus is doing so good. No diarrhea after removing rice. Fantastic. Let's see. And I add fish oil, blueberries, and strawberries. That's great. Lots of antioxidants in those blueberries. That's fantastic. My dogs love blueberries if I don't eat them all first. So that's good. Yeah, rice is an inflammatory ingredient. Some dogs handle it better than others. So I'm glad that Cyrus is doing better. That's good. Okay, and if you hear a lot of barking, that's because my dogs they've been cooped up all day because of the rain. So naturally, they've decided to get crazy out there. Okay, so next up, one of the questions that I'm seeing asked a lot in the group is about what can I add to my kibble to boost it? So I just wanted to run through a list and give you some options here of different things that you can use. And keep in mind, you can use these same items as something to put into something like the treat molds here that I showed you, right? To make your own treats. You can put them, and if you don't have a treat mold, you don't have to. This is 99 cents from Michael's little gummy bear mold. You don't have to have a silicone mold if you don't want to. You can just put them in an ice cube tray. That works too. If you have very, very small dogs, then just don't fill it up all the way, because sometimes those ice cubes can be pretty big. So just fill it up like halfway and put your awesome ingredients in there. Okay, so what can you add to kibble to boost it? You could add a whole egg. Yeah, a whole egg. The shell and everything. So a lot of people freak out about this because they're like, oh my God, raw eggs. It's totally fine. Most dogs really love it, and it's high in protein, it's high in calcium, it's fantastic. The dogs are just freaking out there. I'm just making sure they're all right. Okay, Suze is out there. They're not by themselves. Okay, hang on. Hey! You be quiet. Shh. Now they're all like, how did Mom know what we were doing? They're so funny. Allison's like, I'm so glad I'm here for the eggs. Yes, so if you have small dogs, what I recommend to make your life easier rather than trying to split a raw egg, because if you add a whole egg to your small dog's meal, you're gonna have a whole lot of diarrhea. So they're very rich. So what you can do is you can either scramble them and you can just toss the shell. You can then freeze those pieces of egg, give them as a treat, or if you're adding them to the food, you could add half an egg and then scramble the rest. Or if you have a small dog, you could also look for quail eggs in your local store. Now, for me, I have to go to an Asian market to get quail eggs. They come in like a small pack of 24, I think. It's usually $3 or $4, but they're fantastic for small dogs because then all you have to do is, you know, set it on top of the food, smush it with your finger, you're good to go. So eggs are definitely a great option. Some of the other options are you can add fermented veggies, right? This is a great way to get natural probiotics into your dog's food. Of course, you don't want to use anything like kimchi or anything that's been spiced. Sauerkraut is a fermented veggie, so if your dog likes it, go for it. I have to watch velocity very carefully when we get the sauerkraut out for, you know, like hot dogs or something, because if I go to give her some, she will like scarf it down. She loves it. So just be careful, because if you give them a lot at one time, it could give them a little bit of gas. So fermented veggies. You could also blend up some vegetables and add it to their food. That's always a good option. Goat's milk kefir. Okay, so kefir actually comes in a couple of different varieties. I know most of what people see is cow's milk kefir, but that's actually much harder for dogs to digest. So I recommend that you look for goat's milk kefir, which is easier for them to digest, or even better than that, but possibly more expensive, is water kefir. And so what they've done is they've made kefir, right? So it's got all the probiotic properties, but they've made it with water instead of milk. It's a completely different flavor if you've never tried it for yourself. But I find that most dogs, they really love the water kefir better. They'll kind of tolerate cow's kefir. They'll go for the goat's milk kefir, but they really love the water kefir because it's just, it doesn't have as harsh of a bite. If you find some or make some, you can absolutely make it yourself. Try it because it's good for people too. So, okay, other things you can add to kibble, organs. Organs are a really great option, and you don't have to go way out of your way to get crazy organs if you don't want to. You can just pick up a lot of really basic stuff at places like your grocery store, Walmart. So those are some good options. Organs have a lot of vitamins and minerals in them. So the only one that you want to be careful about is liver. If you're going to add liver to your dog's diet, you need to do it in very, very small amounts. So, and then of course there's always meat, right? Adding meat to your dog's food is definitely a great option. So, then I've got greens and fruits here kind of in moderation. So with greens, you're going to want to steam them. If your dog is prone to crystals or stones, then you're not going to want to use greens at all. And that takes me to the end of my list. Okay, so I wanted to show you some of the things that you can add to your dog's food. So this is the Farmhounds Sprinkles line. I've showed these before. So these are the liver sprinkles. These are the blood sprinkles. I know it sounds terrible, but dogs really love it. So these are a great option if you are, you know, trying to entice your dog to eat more. These can be a really, really good lifesaver, right? Especially if you need a couple days until you can get to the store. We all understand how that is. So one of the other options, I know that I've heard from a couple of you that bone broth is kind of challenging to have in your home. So what I recommend for those people is opting to do something like this. And this is just the Nature's Logic bone broth powder, but there are lots of other companies who also make this. And it's just a powder that you reconstitute with hot water. Very easy to do. It takes no time at all. And then you can just turn around and use that to make your treats. You can use that to add to your kibble, right? You could use it to rehydrate your freeze-dried raw. So just one of the options. This one specifically is chicken, but they do have other proteins as well if your dog has a chicken allergy. Okay. One of the other things you can do to add to kibble to make it better, of course, is a quality canned food. Again, this is the Nature's Logic pork. This is just what I have on hand right now. But on the recommended food list, there's a whole list. If you scroll down, it shows you, it says canned, and then all of the canned options are down there. So definitely a really good option, because canned food is very, very high in moisture, right? Like this one, 72% moisture. Ideally, dogs need 60% moisture or higher for optimal digestion. If you look at your bag of kibble, the moisture level is going to be dust, right? Because they've cooked all of the moisture and essentially the nutrients out of it. That's why they have to add it all back in. So, okay, a couple of other things that you can add to your dog's food as needed. If your dog is having digestive issues, then you may want to look at adding a digestive enzyme, which I have listed in the files. This is a probiotic and prebiotic supplement that I like to use. Again, it's a powder, so you can just mix it into your dog's food. You can mix it into the canned food and then into your dog's food. If your dog is suffering from diarrhea, here we go again, talking about poop, right? Then I highly recommend that you have slippery elm bark powder on hand. I keep this on hand all the time because if your dog gets diarrhea, you want to be able to start this immediately. And it just comes in a little capsule. Well, I shouldn't say little, it's actually a pretty big capsule. It comes in a capsule, right? And all you have to do is pull the two pieces apart, and then you're able to get to the powder on the inside. Slippery elm bark powder is fantastic for rebuilding the inner lining of the intestinal tract. So this is where we get gross. You know how your dog gets diarrhea and then there's that mucus, right, that comes out? That's the lining. They need that in their body. So this helps rebuild that. It will also help with any other digestive issues that they might be having, right? If they're having an issue with producing too much acid, it can help with that. And it's very easy to find, very easy to find. So I highly recommend that you keep this on hand. The other one that I wanted to tell you about, which is a less natural approach, is the pectin. So this you can order in a smaller container for around $10 on Amazon. I got the big container off Amazon because I have a lot of dogs. So this is great to have because what you can do is you can mix this into their food, right? Mix this into their food, right? If they get diarrhea. Add this, and you're looking at firmer stools in as little as 8 hours. Now, this is all assuming that you know what's causing the diarrhea. If you don't know what's causing it, then you shouldn't be taking any of these steps, right? Because you have to diagnose the problem. It doesn't do you any good to stop the diarrhea if your dog has gone outside and drank contaminated water and now has Giardia. Or they were outside and they ate something they weren't supposed to, and now they've got a blockage, right? Or they were outside playing in the dirt and they ate some leaves or something and now they've got hookworm, right? So you need to know what's causing the diarrhea before you start treating it. And this is where, of course, your vet can help you out. So, okay, I think I saw a question here. So let me just pause for a second. Okay, Hope says, for poops, what about Diagel? I'm not familiar with that. Thank you, trusty Google friend. Diagel. Canine. Let's take a look. Do, do, do. Okay. Let's take a look at the ingredients here. Is it going to show me? Okay, one-time use syringe, used to maintain healthy intestinal tract, may be given when diarrhea occurs. Okay. Where are the ingredients? Okay, so we've got Cavricol, carob, chamomile oil, cinnamon oil, clove oil, cranberry powder, micro-encapsulated bead agents. Okay, so it goes on, and then it's got a lot of psyllium husk, psyllium seed husk, rice bran extract, right? So we've got oat bran. So basically, this is a condensed shot of some herbal elements, which are good, some absorbers, right, like your micro encapsulated bead agents. It's just funny, and they call them agents, like they're little, you know, tiny beads in suits, and they're like going down the digestive tract, and you know, anyway. Okay, so and then it's, you know, a lot of, and stevia, I guess that's to sweeten it so dogs will eat it. I mean, if you wanted to use this, you could. There's certainly nothing wrong with it, but a one-time dose, let me see this. A one-time dose for anywhere from $15 to $20, that's pretty pricey. So I guess you just have to decide what would work best for you. I mean, for the slippery elm, you're going to be looking at, you know, $8, right? This is the big jar. This was $17, right? This lasts forever. So I don't see anything advertently wrong with it other than the crazy microbead agents. So, you know, and it's got sweetener and stuff like that. So that one, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could use it. It's not dangerous. So you just got to see what works for you. Okay, we had a whole bunch of people join, and then all the comments started pouring in, which is great. Okay, Aline says, I give my dog quail eggs. Do I give him one daily or every other day? A 3-year-old 5-pound pom. Okay, so let's stop at the first part of your question. It's really going to depend on your dog. So I would certainly start out with one every other day or every 3 days, just to start out, because a lot of times when you introduce something new into the diet, it can take them a couple of days, possibly a week, even a few weeks to get used to it. So I would do one, see how he does. Then I would wait a day, do another one, see how he does, right? That way you can kind of gauge it, and you're not doing too much at one time. And for organs, I have frozen chicken hearts, which are fantastic. So hearts, just so you know, hearts count as meat because they're muscle. They do have a lot of really fantastic vitamins and minerals in them, but we do count heart as a meat, just so you know. How or when can I give him those? Whenever you want. You can give them as a treat. You can add them to the food. You can, you know, chop them up and put them in a mold for, you know, a frozen treat. You've got a lot of options there. So again, anytime that you're introducing something new, You're going to want to give a small amount. Hey, my package just delivered. Fantastic. Just kind of notification. Anytime you're introducing something new, you want to start out slow, start out with a small amount, and kind of ease them into it. So, and the more you do that and introduce new things into the diet, the healthier and more active their microbiome is going to become, and they're going to be able to handle a lot more. So yeah, absolutely. So I would start with the egg and see how your dog does with that for a week. Then if you want to start adding in heart, you can go ahead and do that. It's really just going to depend on how sensitive your dog is. So yeah, but those are both fantastic options. Okay. Is Titan Red still approved raw food? I have a co-op near me, and once I have more freezer space, I'm hoping to move them to raw. I don't know. I just recently went through and updated the recommended food list, so let's check it out. I don't see them on here. I had to take quite a few raw options off of the list because they started adding all sorts of stuff to their food. So yeah, I would have to take a look at it and see specifically what it is that you're looking to get from them. Sometimes it's just a specific food, sometimes it's, you know, everything they produce. So I'd have to take a look at it, Jessica, in order to be able to tell you. Okay, is there a supplement that prevents Giardia, or is it better for a vet to deal with? Okay, so there is no supplement that prevents it. Giardia is I forgot what it's called. A zoological, it's like a virus, right? So it has its own biology, essentially. So yeah, you can't prevent it per se. A lot of puppies get it because they, you know, their immune system is not fully up and functional, you know, until they're older. So, but yeah, there's no supplement either to protect from it, or to treat it. It's definitely something you'll have to deal with your vet. And I find that more often than not, dogs are having to be on a longer treatment plan. They usually start you out at, I think it's like 4 to 5 days worth of treatment. And I find that most people that I talk to, their dogs are having to go, you know, anywhere from 10 to 14 days on treatment in order to really kill it off. And the thing about Giardia and Coccidia is that they have a tendency to go away, right? They become suppressed, and then they're suppressed by the immune system. And then at some point, if your dog becomes immune compromised, then they flare up again. So it can be this kind of uphill battle. And Dr. Karen Becker has a fantastic YouTube video where she talks about Giardia and some of the things that you can do to kind of battle it. But it is something that you have to deal with your vet. So I keep hoping that there will one day be a pill you can take and, right, your dog takes that can just kill it off. But we're not to that point yet. Oh, it's under Canada? Okay, Allison's saying it's under Canada. I may have had... Oh, Titan Raw Dog Food. Okay, sorry, it's under Canada. I don't know why it's under Canada. I may have had a client who is from Canada who was asking about it. So I'll have to move that. Sorry about that. Allison, thank you for catching that. You're awesome. Okay, so Titan is good. We're good. Okay. Kim says you don't have to give the full syringe of the Diagel. I give a pea-size amount to my palm and it works within 24 hours. Okay, great. Fantastic. Hey, Jaleesa's here. Fantastic. I love that there are so many of you that are here for the live session. That's great. Okay, Allie, just an FYI, you may want to add a note about All Provide on the approved list. They just introduced a new pork recipe with green beans. Okay. Okay, I will definitely check that out. Let me go. Yep. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. And don't let me forget to do it, please, because I get distracted with so much stuff. Okay. Here we go. I'm introducing my puppy to bully sticks. My question is, how long do you let them chew on it? What do you do with it afterwards? Bag it, room temp, fridge, thanks. Okay, so bully sticks, or any natural chew for that matter, first things first, you want to make sure that you're getting an appropriate size. Regardless of the size of your dog, do not purchase anything that is less than 6 inches. I don't care if you have a Great Dane puppy or if you have a tiny 1-pound Pomeranian puppy. Any natural treat or chew that you get them, it needs to not be less than 6 inches. Do not be fooled by bags of treats that have like the little trachea pieces or the little bully stick pieces or bully stick bites, they call them. No. What they should call them is, here, give us your money so we can give you a choking hazard. Okay? So first off, right there, make sure it's 6 inches or bigger, regardless of the size of your dog. Don't go below 6 inches. Okay. Now, to answer your question about the bully sticks, it really depends on your puppy, and you didn't specify what kind of puppy you have. So if you'll tell me what kind of puppy you have, then I'll be able to better help you. I like to give them a bully stick until they chew it down about halfway. So if they were starting out with an 8-inch bully stick, I let them get it down to about 4 inches, and then I'll take it from them. A lot of times puppies will get distracted, right? They're like, oh, look at that shiny thing, right? And then off they go, and they leave their bully stick behind. So the next part of your question, for storage purposes, I like to put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the fridge. It's not a requirement. You could just leave them in a Ziploc bag on the counter. I personally find that it cuts down on the smell. And also, when dogs chew bully sticks, I got the 6-inch, she's a palm. Okay, fantastic. So when dogs chew bully sticks, they tend to get soft at the point where they're chewing, which if you ever pick that end up accidentally, you will be very unhappy that you put your hands in all of that mush. So what I like to do to kind of firm up that end again is, like I said, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the fridge, and then when you go to take it out, it's a really awesome cold treat for them, which is good if they happen to be teething, which most puppies are. And also that end will get hard again. So yeah, they can just pick up where they left off. Once it gets to be right around like 2 or 3 inches, I just go ahead and take it from them and throw it away, because at that point, for me, it's not worth it because of the potential choking hazard. So I just, it's the only downside really kind of to the bully stick is that you know you're going to throw away a few inches of it. So, but yeah, that was a great question. And that same logic could be applied to other treats, other chews, like the tracheas, right? You let them chew it down. These are The 6-inch ones, you let them chew it down about halfway, pop it in the fridge, right? Same idea. And you will know your dog's chewing style much better than I would. There are some dogs like Velocity who could take a 12-inch trachea and chew it all the way down. She's a very, very good, diligent, careful chewer. She really takes her time and chews things up fully. And so I could trust her with an entire trachea or potentially an entire bully stick. I don't, but I'm saying that the point is, you know your dog and your dog's chewing style, so you'll know at what point they kind of get like, oh, I'm just gonna swallow this thing whole. Side note, if your dog does swallow a piece of a bully stick whole, don't panic. It's okay. I have had a lot of people that have panicked and been like, oh my God, what's happening? Okay, well, if they swallow it and they don't choke on it, you're good. All you need to do is skip their feeding for that next feeding, right? If it's that night, usually it's in the afternoon that people are giving a chew. If it's that night, you skip their feeding, right? And then the next morning, you want to make sure that they are A, acting normally, and B, that they have a normal bowel movement, and then you can feed like normal. So sometimes people get upset when I recommend that you fast a dog if they've swallowed a large, piece of a treat like that. While they may be hungry, you're not hurting them. Dogs actually do well if they fast, for a night. It's not going to hurt them. The only challenge with that is if you have a very, very small breed, like, like I said, a 2-pound Pomeranian puppy, then you may need to just do smaller meals throughout the night. Basically what you're doing is you're having that stomach acid just kind of build up in their stomach so that it can break down the large piece of bully stick in this case. So, yeah. Okay, great. Okay, Abigail says, thank you. My dog has issues with Giardia in the past, and me and my husband like to backpack and camp, so I was asking, hate dealing with it. I completely understand. The best thing you can do, which would be challenging if you're, backpacking and camping, is just make sure that your dog does not drink or eat anything while out on the trail. If you come across water and your dog starts drinking it, okay, well, there wasn't much you could do about that. You just got to do the best you can. So it's just one of those things. Okay. I also found 2 new raw brands that I'd love for you to review if possible. Rebel Raw and Mad Butcher Meat Company. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, Rebel Raw. I love these raw food company names. Rebel Raw. Dog food. Go, Google. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Well, hey, look at that. Rebel Raw Pet Food in Atlanta, Georgia. I see you, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in Georgia, for those of you who don't know. Okay, let's take a look at dogs. Okay. They have a lot of different protein varieties, which is good. They offer raw goat milk, that's good. So we've got Angus beef, chicken, duck, lamb, pork, rabbit, salmon, sardines, turkey, venison. That's great. Okay, let's start with the beef. Okay, so what I did was, when I'm looking on their website, and this one is actually a lot easier to navigate, they have theirs labeled as complete and balanced. which doesn't necessarily mean it's complete and balanced. So you have to be careful with that. So we're going to open it up here. Okay, great. It is complete and balanced for growth and maintenance stages, which is good. Ingredients look great. Okay, they are using a calcium carbonate, which is good for dogs that may not handle bones well. So the calcium carbonate is easier to digest. And this Angus one that I'm looking at is all life stages. Okay, so they're off to a good start. So that's good. Okay, now let me check out that other one really quick. Mad Butcher Meat Company. Yeah, Meat Company. Mad Butcher Meat Company. Let's take a look at them. All right. So this one looks like people food that also has pet food. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this first one here. They're calling it a complete blend. And I say that in quotations because for those of you who are not familiar with researching raw or commercially cooked diets, they can make any number of claims, even to call them a complete blend or a balanced blend or a balanced recipe or a complete recipe, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is complete and balanced. You have to be careful because no one's regulating these terms. They can say whatever they want. I like to tell people that I could make a dog food that is 100% made from organic vegetables and unicorns, and there would be no one to stop me. So let's take a look here. Okay, this website is not as user-friendly. Okay, it's not as user-friendly. Don't worry guys, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I just wanted to see, just to get an idea. Plus I like for people to see what goes into the researching process. You don't just take their word for it that something is complete and balanced. So I'm seeing that they have a lot of different fortified blends. Marrow bones, chicken feet, chicken necks. So there's lots of really great treat options. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to have to research this one further because they don't just come right out and say that they are complete and balanced. So I'll have to research that one further. But those were very good, Jaleesa. Thank you for handing them over to me. So the Rebel Raw is a definite yes. I'm going to have to look into the Mad Butcher and see what they got going on. Because a lot of these companies that are, butchering meats for humans, they figured out that there's an entire market for dog food. So they just throw stuff together and they're like, hey, it's a complete dog food. When in actuality it's not. So you just have to be careful. Okay. What size would you get a 35-pound Husky puppy? So I'm guessing that you asked that back when we were talking about the bully sticks. So for anything like 25 pounds and up, I like to do the 12-inch bully sticks. They're not going to eat the whole thing at one time, but it does give you an opportunity to let them be able to chew it right for more than just 30 minutes. So the tracheas also come in a 12-inch. So yeah, that's what I would do for a 35-pound Husky. Okay, great. Okay, Courtney says, could you review Evermore pet food? Thoughts on turkey and lamb recipes? Okay, let's take a look. Evermore, I'm not familiar with that one. Let's consult the Google. Evermore, which is also a song apparently. Dog food. Okay, so this is a gently cooked food company. Great. And you said the turkey and lamb recipe. No, I don't want to give you my email address. All right. Food, product info. I know you can't see because of the glare, so that's why I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And we're looking for turkey and lamb. It's chicken, beef, lamb. Okay. So it is complete and balanced for adult maintenance, which means as long as your dog is an adult, then they can eat it. That's good. So this is not approved for puppies. So keep that in mind. They're using eggshell as calcium, which is good. Okay. So we've got lamb shoulder, lamb hearts, eggs, organic pumpkin, organic carrots, lamb liver, organic kale, organic apples, dandelion greens, blueberries, parsley, fish oil. I could keep going, but all of these ingredients are great. So this is very good. This is very good. Okay. And then also you were talking about turkey. Also great. Again, for an adult dog. Yeah. Yeah, these look great. Okay. I'm going to have to add these to the list. That's fantastic. Let me see what the pricing looks like. So they come in 1 pound units. So 16 pounds is on sale for $174.80. So you're paying quite a bit for convenience, but I mean the quality is definitely there. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, see, 2 1 pound units is $32.50. So just for reference, if you were looking for a complete and balanced recipe to make your own food, you could do it yourself, depending on the size of your dog, for probably around $40 would be enough to feed them potentially for a month if you have a small breed. So, but those are very good options, so I will definitely add them to the list. Jaleesa said, that's why I come to you, Allie, the queen of complete and balanced. Yes. Yeah. It's one of those things. You gotta know what you're looking for, because they will tell you that a food is fantastical when it's not. Hey, Priscilla says, hey, I made it. Fantastic. Great. We were waiting for you. Where have you been? Now we can get started because Priscilla's here. That's good. Okay. The complete blend page isn't loading. Okay, so she was showing me the ingredients. Yeah. It's good stuff. Okay, Matthew says, could you please say the name of that food topper powder just one more time? Matthew, I'm going to do it just for you. Okay, so I'm assuming you were talking about these guys. So the company is Farmhounds, and you can order directly from their website. Let me see if it says their website on here. Hang on. Farmhounds.com. And they have a couple of different varieties. So I actually picked these up at my local boutique pet store, right? Privately owned, not like a big chain store. So if you have a store like that that you shop at, you should definitely tell them to order these, right? If you want to purchase through them. Support small business, by the way. So yeah, there's the blood sprinkles, there's the liver sprinkles, there are a couple of other different options. So, but I'm telling you, dogs love this stuff. So I hope that helps you. I hope that was the powder you were referring to. Okay, Matthew said thank you. You're very welcome. Okay, I just realized that I had talked about a couple of other powders and I was like, oh no, I'm telling him the wrong thing. Okay. All right, let me scroll back up. Courtney, thank you. The chicken and beef recipes and food. This is on your not approved list, so these recipes seemed good. Okay, great. Allison said, I almost peed my pants when you said the sale price. Yeah, the thing is, commercially made food, especially with top-notch ingredients, like, I was listing out a lot of those ingredients are, grass-fed meat and organic fruits and vegetables, right? Those are all going to be pricey. And then adding on top of that, you're paying someone to put everything together for you in the correct ratios, package it up, send it to your house, right? You're going to pay for all of that convenience. So it's just something to keep in mind. Jessica said, what's a good website to get meaty bones? Well, Jessica, I would post that question in the group. I like to go get my meaty bones in person. I know that can be challenging right now, because of COVID, but I really like to see them in person. I know I'm weird. I like to go to Asian markets are really great, farmers markets, any kind of ethnic grocery store is going to be a great option to get all kinds of bones. If you're looking for chicken feet, they call them chicken paws at Walmart. That's a super cheap place to get it. You can also talk to your local butcher. That's a great place to get cheap, meaty bones. So yeah, I don't really like to order from a website unless they are dried or freeze dried, in which case, that would be a different story. You could definitely order those online. Priscilla said, sorry, I'm working. Well, what were you thinking? Just kidding. I'm just glad that you made it. I have a lot of people that tune in when they get off work or they're on a break. Okay, great. Hi guys, how are you? Love your hair, thank you. I actually just cut it myself yesterday because it was making me crazy. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm trying to wear it down more because I'm really bad about just like ponytail, off I go. Especially first thing in the morning. Hey, Jaleesa gave you some great options for the raw bones, My Pet Carnivore, Hair Today, Raw Feeding Miami. I forgot about Raw Feeding Miami. That's very popular. They're good places to get raw meaty bones delivered. That's fantastic. Hey, Priscilla's on a break. All right. Break time. Break time. That's always the best time at work, right? When you're on a break. You're like, give me a break. Okay. Well, we got through all of the questions there. So I'm just going to go back to, thank you. Thank you. She's so sweet. I'm just going to go back to blathering on. So I've had some people ask me how I keep track of my dog's records, having multiple dogs, having, breeding dogs and keeping track of all of their paperwork. So I just wanted to show you, let me back you guys up a little bit. Back it up. So these are the folders that I use. I get them from Target. They are the 5-star pocket folders. There's a pocket in the front. And then I just print out a picture of the dog, right? And then here's their folder. And then I just keep everything for that dog because I'm a weirdo and I like paper in that folder. So like right here, I've got all of Logan's genetic testing, all of that together. His coat testing is all right here. Here's all of his, there's his pedigree, his registration papers, all of his vet work. I think that's everything he's got in there. So I just do that. That way it's in a folder. They come in a lot of different colors, and what I do is color code it for each dog. So Logan is a majority black, and so he got a gorgeous black folder. And so, yeah, that's how I kind of keep track of everybody's stuff. That way, if I need to go and make reference to something, I can just go, oh yeah, I need to look at Logan's file to see, what coat colors he carries. I can just pull it out. Boom, it's right there, good to go. The other reason why I like to keep a paper copy of everything is because, especially like with the genetic testing, I went to go reference something with his genetic testing and their website was down. And it was down for like a couple of weeks. And I was like, okay, well, that is a really good reason to print everything out and put it in a folder. So the other reason why I keep everything together in a folder is if there is ever an urgent need that I need to take a dog to a new vet, like let's say I can't get in with my vet, I'm having to take him to a different vet or the emergency vet, I can just grab a folder and off I go, right? So it makes everything a lot easier. So I wanted to show you guys that. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys is I am going to have a couple of new videos coming out where I'm going to be making a lot of healthy dog treats. So I just ordered this off of Amazon. It was super cheap. It's just a really big mat with little circular half moon, right? So you can make little treats. And then of course I've always got my other little treat molds. So I'll be very excited to make those videos. Okay, let me pull you guys back in. How you doing? Okay. I'm thinking of having the Boo haircut. Boo is so cute. I love that little palm. Okay, Priscilla's heading back after a break. Okay, bye. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, what do you think about the Boo cut? Is it true it's not good for a palm? Okay, there are various schools of thought when it comes to shaving double-coated breeds, like Pomeranians, Huskies, Australian Shepherds. I was trying to think of some others. I know there are others. So there are kind of three schools of thought. One is that if you shave your dog, that they could potentially go bald, develop alopecia or black skin disease, their hair could never grow back, their skin will be damaged, all because you shaved them. So there's that school of thought. Then there is the completely opposite school of thought, which is, yeah, shave them, but don't shave all the way to the skin. It's fine. It's no big deal. It'll grow out, but it's going to kind of grow out funny. So it just takes some time for their coat to come back and you're good to go. So that's kind of at either end of the spectrum. And then there are those in the middle, like myself, who understand that for certain situations, shaving a dog may be necessary. Now, I am not a groomer, even though I do some grooming on my own, but I'm not professionally trained. So please take whatever I say about grooming with a grain of salt, because really I just wing it. I do take my dogs to a professional groomer. We love them. And I do have one of my Pomeranians shaved fairly short all the time because it makes him happy. And before you scoff, he is a rescue. He was highly traumatized. He does not do well with brushing, or if you come towards him with something in your hand, it's very frightening for him. And it does not matter how much desensitization work that we do, he just can't handle it. So coming at him with clippers or scissors or something in your hand, right, to groom him, it puts him in an absolute fit. So, same with a brush. So, brushing him is very traumatic for him. And we just decided that for his sanity, we would keep him shaved, which is a fairly quick process, so that we wouldn't have to brush him as much, so it wouldn't be as traumatic for him. Now, I understand that he's a special case. A lot of people shave their dog because they think it looks cute, which is fine. You just have to do your research and figure out what's best for your dog. And talk to your groomer about it. I mean, there are some groomers that refuse to go very, very short on a double-coated breed, but they may be willing to, just kind of scissor cut and give the dog a shorter cut, but not necessarily a shaved cut. So it's not necessarily the same thing. So, yeah. I personally don't have a problem with it. Obviously, I have a dog that I shave. We shave our poodles. They're not double coated, but we do shave our poodles. So really, I personally would much rather someone who is not committed to brushing their palm, which unfortunately there are a lot of them. I would much rather those people shave their dog and just have like a mane and tail to brush than to let the dog become severely matted and be miserable, because it is miserable. It pulls on the skin. So really grooming and brushing is very, very important for any dog, regardless of breed. But specifically when it comes to double-coated breeds, I mean, you just got to stay on top of it. We brush our dogs every other day. I just get the brush out and puppies run away and adult dogs will come and lay down. And just while we watch TV, I just brush everybody out. With the exception of Bear, I don't brush him every other day. He's my rescue who's, has the trauma. So we don't traumatize him every other day. So yeah, so it's one of those personal choice things. Now, I will say that in the Padfoot Palms, Poodles and Pals group, I do not allow conversations about shaving because there are people who are off the wall crazy. And they will bust out with the all caps and you're killing your dog and they're gonna, you know? Yeah, no. Just everybody calm down. It's a personal choice thing. So just do your research, talk to your groomer, right? Who is the professional, and see what they have to say. And even then you'll find that different groomers have various opinions on it. So, I would indeed take her to a groomer. She hates being brushed too. Yeah. She has a lot of hair and gets matted a lot behind her ears. Yeah. I have a really tough time with all of our dogs with behind the ears because they're constantly playing, and it just seems like that one spot where there's always a mat and it comes out of nowhere. I will have just brushed everybody the night before, and the next day I'm petting Velocity and there's a mat behind her ear, and I'm like, now I know that I brushed you and combed you and brushed you again, and now you have a mat. What is going on? So, hey, Lynn, thank you so much. Lynn was saying she loves my hair. You're so sweet. You guys, you're great. I just cut my hair because, COVID. And I got tired of it. So I'm trying to wear it down. So thank you. Okay, great. Hey, that's okay. We have a lot of people who speak French and, do the whole translation thing, so don't even worry about it. She said, excuse my English. Your English is fantastic. You're fantastic. You should just type something out in French. I love side note, I love on TikTok when the people come up and they speak another language and they're teaching you different words to say. I always stop on those. So I have a whole bunch of little French words and Japanese words, and just for fun. Just for fun. I feel like in the world that we're in today, we need those little moments of just for fun, right? So, okay, good. Okay, so speaking of grooming, thank you. What is this? So I wanted to talk to you guys about my little tiny groomer here. We actually have two of these. We purchased these off of Amazon. They were $17 and still got a hair in it. Sorry guys. $17 and the other one was like $22. Anyway, these are little groomers that are perfect for doing the pads of your dog's feet. They're great for especially poodle puppies because as their hair grows in, it starts to get really long here in the corner of their eye, and they can get some little eye goopies. So you can get in very easily with this, close their eye with one hand and just go zoop, and just get that little area right there. You can't even tell that it's been groomed, but your puppy will be like, oh, I can see again. So these are fantastic. One of the reasons why we love these is because, as you can see, the blade is very, very small. So if you have a small breed, like a Pomeranian, these are great because you can get in and get their feet done, and you're like done in 2 seconds, and you're on to the next foot and done, and onto the next foot and done. And you can turn them over and use them to kind of get the top of the foot, to get that little elf hair is what I call it, that kind of grows out the front. So the reason why I wanted to show this to you guys is because regardless of the breed of dog that you have, these are a fantastic investment. And if you have hardwood floors, you should have this for your dog, and you should be cleaning out the pad of their foot in between their toes. So if their foot is like this and they've got all this hair under there, if you kind of get in here with the shaver and clean out all that hair, what happens is that the pad of the foot can get better traction on your hardwood floor, which makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference for your dog's joints, right? So even if you have a golden retriever and they get those elf feet and they got the hair in between, get in there when you're doing your dog's nails, right? You trim their nails, get in there and clean up the pad of that foot. So, Allison, I knew that was going to get you. Can you link those trimmers in the group, please? You bet. Yes. Yeah, I can absolutely do that. I guess it's still in my Amazon cart if you want the exact ones that I got. I got this one, and then I also got a white version. I like them both. The white one came with a little tiny guard for here that was specifically for if you're trimming cat feet. So I just pulled that off and we just use this. The other thing is, this is very quiet. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Also, it charges via USB, so you're not wasting any money, you know, throwing a bunch of batteries into this thing. And the blade does screw off, just like with regular clippers. So if you want to take it off, if you want to oil it, if you want to clean it, you can absolutely do that. No, Amy, they're not noisy at all. I don't know if you can hear that or not. I'm hoping that you can. This is what I use to desensitize puppies to shavers because it has very little vibration. It makes noise, but it's not scary. So I have been using this on Kennedy and Shazam, and I've been running it along their face, on their nose, and over by their eyes, over by their ears, because again, it's not super loud. Now, Lynn, you bring up a very good point. This would not be ideal for sanitary clips because it would take you forever. It's a very, very small blade, very small. So for a sanitary clip, I recommend, if you're doing it at home, for the smaller dogs, like 5 pounds or less, I like to use a beard trimmer style, which is, it has a blade that's probably about an inch to an inch and a half, right? So just for reference, you know what? Hold that thought. Here. Look at the stuff on the bed. Hang on. Oh, yes, that was so interesting, looking at the things on the bed. Okay, instead of trying to, I'm always bad about talking with my hands. So instead of trying to explain to you, I'm going to show you, ta-da, beard trimmer. Okay, so here you've got your tiny trimmer, which is what I call it. It's not really the name of it. So, tiny trimmer, beard trimmer. So you can see the difference. Now, for sanitary clips, these beard trimmers are cheap. They come with all sorts of attachments, and they're very easy to clean, and they're not as wide as a regular blade. I can't show you a regular blade because they're down in the basement at my grooming station. If I had thought this through, I would have brought it so I could have done a side-by-side comparison of that too. So, baby trimmer, teenager trimmer, big trimmer, right? Just kind of imagine. So these are great for sanitary clips because very easy to get, you know, in the nooks and crannies. And also, if you have a smaller dog, it's not going to take you forever like it would with this. This, I mean, you'd be doing a sanitary trim for an hour. This, you're looking at 5 minutes. So I hope that's helpful. But yes, I will link them. I just got this at Walmart, right? It's just a beard trimmer, super cheap. Yeah, but I'll link this guy down below for you. Okay, great. It's making my babies nervous. What, the trimmer? Okay, a YouTube tutorial, sure. On actually doing like the feet, like to clean out the feet. I would be more than happy to show you. As previously stated, I am not a groomer, so I would be more than happy to show you or make a video if you would like that. But I don't want anybody to think that I'm a grooming professional, because I promise you that I'm not, and I make a hot mess. If you've seen Sega recently, you'll see that her sanitary cut went very wrong. And now she looks like she was wearing a pair of pants, but someone took off her pants, and so now she just has very short hair, like where pants would be. So, you know, you live and you learn, right? Okay. Amy says, do you use the guard on the beard trimmer when doing a sanitary? Okay, so I don't, but I have had instances where I've wanted to use the guard, where you know, I was trying to blend out the coat so that it's not, when you're doing a sanitary cut, you're getting quite close, right? And then if you just have your sanitary cut and then the regular hair, right, like there's a stark line of, so I might use one of the guards, you know, when going over that. You can also use a guard if you're just trying to trim down the coat, but you're not going all the way to the skin, right? So the guards are definitely good to have. Now, I will say that the first time that I ever did a sanitary clip on my own, I did use a guard. And if at any point I'm nervous about what I'm doing, for example, I am still practicing on shaving poodle faces. It still makes me very nervous. So I have nightmares about, you know, giving them razor burn and stuff like that. So I put the guard on there and I practice, right? And it's not getting the clip as short as if I was a professional groomer, but I'm getting the practice in, and I don't have to panic that I'm, you know, going to give them razor burn or, you know, get their skin caught in it. You just have to be careful. So again, I'm not a grooming professional. I just wing it. And there are a lot of grooming tutorials on YouTube. Yes, absolutely, by professionals. So, but if you want one, I would do. Okay, Allison, yes, tutorial on the toe beans. Okay, I'll do one. It'll probably be a hot mess, but I'll try. Maybe I'll use Iceland, because she's really good about getting her nails clipped and having the pads of her feet trimmed. So once they kind of grow out a little bit, maybe I'll do one for you guys. But only because I love you. Okay, great. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay, good. Okay. Well, we have gone over everything on my list, and we've talked about a whole bunch tonight. I think, yeah, we went over everything. So what do you guys got? You got any questions? Ah, excellent point. You can clip at the top of a comb. Yes, just like with people hair. Excellent point. Jose, is that how you say your name? It's the little mark over the E. I'm always so afraid I'm going to say people's names wrong. Which is funny because, okay, so here's my little fun naming thing for you. So I go by Allie, right? And I spell it A-L-I, which on paper people read as Ali. Makes perfect sense. So a lot of times when, I go to meet somebody for the first time, or like the doctor's office, right? They're like, okay, Ali, come on up, right? And I go up there and they're thoroughly confused, which again, I understand. And then I tell them, yeah, it's Ali, but I spell it like Ali because I'm the greatest. So it's just one of those silly things that I say. Put the comb to the skin and trim over the comb. Yes, absolutely. Okay, good. Great. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like this is why I love our group. Like we all kind of come together and help each other. And I love that. Right? Because I'm not a grooming professional, but we have groomers in the group and they can help you. Alibaba. Me too. I love that movie. It's a good one. Too funny. Okay, so what do you guys got? You got any questions? Because if not, I'm probably going to jump off of here and go eat some dinner because I'm starving. So what you got for me? By the way, now that we are in the new year, I'm going to start having live sessions more often because I know that not everybody can get to the Friday night session. With all of the holidays and everything that was going on, it was kind of hard there towards the end of December. But now we're in the new year, so live sessions all the time. I think that should be my opening song. What do you think? I think I need an opening song. Live sessions all the time. There's probably somebody who's listening to me right now while they're, cooking, making their dinner, and they're like, Allie, what are you doing? You've completely lost it over there. This is what happens when you don't ask questions, okay? Then I have to improv, and you see it spiraling out of control. So if you love me, help me out here. Hey, Jose said, I used to be a hairdresser. That's so awesome. My mom went to cosmetology school, so she always cut my hair, and she taught me how to cut hair. So whatever schooling people had probably like 30 years ago, that is the amount of training that I've had in cutting hair. So most of the time, it's a hot mess. Yeah, but sometimes I do pretty good. That's very cool. Okay, Christy said, I do want to do one of your recipes, but can't open the file. How do I get to the recipe? Okay, I've had a lot of people that have had this challenge. Try opening it from your computer. If that doesn't work, it's a Facebook glitch, and I'm so sorry. And if you'll just message me, and let me know which one it is, then I'll try to screenshot it and send it to you so that you can open it. I'm so sorry. Facebook is just special sometimes. They change the formatting of the files, and then they didn't kind of work backwards to make the other ones anyway, it's a huge mess. Oh, you don't have a computer. Okay. Okay. Well, what I could do is maybe I could take a screenshot of it and send it to you. That would probably be the easiest way to do it. Jose said, Bon appetit. Oh, I got to go back. She said something in French earlier. Hold on. Jose, don't leave. Hang on. Where did it go? She said something in French, and I wanted to try to say it. Probably horribly, and then she'll never speak to me again, but I'd like to try. By the way, I took French in middle school for 1 day. Okay, here we go. Merci. Hey, okay, I know what that means. That's a good one. Okay, merci pour ton aide? The vowels always get me. But I'm guessing Maybe this says thank you for your help. Jose, let me know if that's right. It's thank you. Merci. Let me know if I got it right. Okay, let me go back. Let me see if she commented. Okay, she hasn't commented yet. Jose, where you at? Tell me if I'm right. The ones I really struggle with are like the TikTok videos I was talking about earlier where they're doing the Japanese words. I'm having to work at those. Okay. I think she left. Come back, Jose. I need to know if that's what that meant. Did I translate it correctly? Okay. Yes! Thank you for your help! I win! Okay, thank you. And you're welcome. That was fun. Thank you for that. See, that's what I'm talking about. The little things in life that make you happy. Oh, good. Oh, okay, now we're really going. Okay, Aline says, we tu es correcte? Correcte. That's my Spanish coming in. I know that's probably wrong. Tu es bien recién. Again, I probably said all of that wrong, but I think it says, yes, you're correct. And then I don't know what the last part is. We're having fun though. I'm having a blast. Okay. Hey, Jeanette's got a question. I figured out Duchess allergies is seasonal. I noticed it acts up when she comes in from outside, even if she's only out long enough to potty. Any suggestions? So that's a tough one. Seasonal allergies are tough because, I mean, if it's outside, if you can figure out what it is, like if it's, I know that there are a lot of like hay type grasses that are growing. If there's anything in your yard that you might be able to pinpoint it, that could be the culprit. Oh, Aline said, yes, you're correct. You're right. Thank you. Okay, let me go back. Sorry. I got distracted by something shiny there. Okay. The only thing I could say about seasonal or environmental allergies is you really got to boost that gut microbiome because most of your dog's health is in that microbiome. So anything you can do, you know, fermented veggies, probiotics, digestive enzymes, you know, adding fresh food to the diet if you feed kibble, anything you can do like that will help. There are some schools of thought that giving your dog local bee pollen can help. But I have seen that with some dogs, they really just don't like it. So it's kind of one of those things. It's certainly worth giving a try. But yeah, with environmental allergies, it's tough. Okay, Jose's going. Good night. Have a nice evening, you too. Thank you so much for joining. That was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. Okay, let me kind of go back up here. Jessica says, okay, what do you think of breeding more than one breed? I'm thinking about having one dame and finding a really good sire as a really breeding program for another breed. Okay, so having multiple breeds is perfectly fine. What I would recommend is that, let's say I have a standard poodle breeding program, right? And let's say that I decide I want to breed mini Aussies. because, oh my gosh, they're so cute. Love Aussies. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that all of your dogs are featured in your online presence. You want to make sure that you have a separate website for your Aussies, right? So it's not just, because let me explain why. There are a lot of puppy mills, scammers, right, that have multiple breeds on one website. So they may have, Pomeranians, Poodles, Chihuahuas, Shih Tzus, Jack Russells, right? And then they've got like all this stuff. That screams puppy mill, both to other breeders and to buyers. So if you're only going to have 2 breeds, right, then I think you could probably get away with it on one website or one social media site. But there's nothing wrong with having a separate site for that other breed. If you're going to house everybody in the same area, then you may want to consider including some kind of genetic testing in your puppy kit, because you will come across some breeders who will be very nervous to potentially purchase one of your dogs, because there's always that risk that it could be a mix. Not to say that it would be, right? But there are some people who will think that. So those are all different things that you want to take into account. The other thing is you want to really look at what this other breed is and what their requirements are. So if it's something that's very high drive, high energy, high grooming needs, whereas your original breed is the exact opposite, okay, well, those dogs themselves may have challenges with getting along with each other. So you just want to make sure you do all of your research and you really think it through. But for me personally, I don't see anything wrong with having breeding programs where you have 2 separate breeds, or, mixes as people choose. So yeah, it's definitely an option. I just think that it's one of those things that you want to think through as far as your social media presence and what you're conveying to your buyer. So absolutely, that's a great question. Out of curiosity, I'd love to know what the 2 breeds are, if you want to share. Okay, great. We got to the end of the questions there. You guys are hanging in till the end. I love you for that. Okay. Oh, okay, great. So Jessica says, also wish me luck. They are both very high drive, Malinois and Dutch Shepherd. Perfect. I would say you could do one website, do them both together, and here's why I say that. When you have 2 breeds that are both very high drive, they're used a lot in police work, detection agencies. They're even being used now for drug dogs, COVID detection, police work. I think I said that, sorry. Anyway, when you have these high drive dogs that do a lot with bite work, having them both in your breeding program, I think is fantastic. I think it's a great way to highlight each breed. So yeah, that's very good. I would be down with that. It's the ones where they're kind of all over the place that leave you wondering, like, okay, Malinois, Dutch Shepherd, okay, you're gonna get kind of the same type of customer, right, with both breeds. But if you've got Great Danes and Chihuahuas, right? Like those are two very different types of customers. With two dogs with very different needs. Not to bash any breeders that decide that that's what they want to do. It's just interesting to me. So, yeah. But it sounds like they would be a good fit, and definitely high drive. So, I absolutely wish you luck with that. I definitely could not handle a Malinois. I think they're gorgeous and so smart, and I love watching them on TV, but way out of my league. So mad respect to you, Jessica, because those dogs they're serious. They're for very serious dog owners. So I give you mad props for that one. All right, guys, I'm starting to get ridiculous and delusional because I need to go eat dinner. I'm so sorry for that. I love you. So I'm going to wrap this up here. If you have any last minute questions, drop them down in the comments. Oh, Jessica said, I'm talking myself out of working line German Shepherd. I really couldn't add that one, but beautiful. Yeah, they really are. Although I feel like the German Shepherds have been done such a disservice. Now you're talking about a working line, which probably structurally is much more sound than a show German Shepherd, right? That's like either end of the spectrum. But I just feel like the German Shepherds have just gotten way overbred, and their structure is just kind of all over the place. So, I feel like the Malinois and the Dutch Shepherds, they have a much stronger foundation just from my limited knowledge of them. So, yeah, definitely a great choice. And I think it's good that you talked yourself out of the working line German Shepherd. But that's just my opinion. And, you know, everybody's got an opinion. So, you guys are fantastic. I love you all. You have been great. We had some really phenomenal questions tonight. So if you missed the first part of the show, don't panic. I will be loading this both to the Facebook group so that you can watch it from the beginning, and also to my YouTube channel, just in case you missed a part or you need to go back. So yeah, no problem. You can always catch it. And if you haven't already, make sure you go through the Facebook group and look at some of our other live sessions, because we've had some really great questions. We've had a lot of fun, and some of them we got pretty rowdy. So thank you so much for joining. I hope that you'll join us for the next live session. And as always, be kind. Oh, hold on. Hold that thought. Jessica commented, I have an amazing breeder from my first Malinois, Michael Ellis. Okay, I'm not as familiar with Malinois breeders, but that's so good that you have a good breeder. That's so good. It's so important. Okay, I'll end on this note. If you're going to purchase a dog, if that's the route that you choose to go, not just you, Jessica, but anybody watching, it's so important that you find a breeder that loves their breed, that is invested in their health, in their structure, in their quality, in their purpose, right? And that is there for you as a buyer. And that is so important, because I cannot tell you how many times I have interacted with breeders and they're just like, oh yeah, well, here's this, here's the puppy, and then we're done with you, right? Look for a breeder who's looking to bring you into their family. They want updates on that puppy. They want to talk to you whenever you have an issue. They're right there for you. Even if they don't have the answers, they're willing to help you. That's the kind of breeder that you want to look for. And Jessica, I know you already know that, but we have a lot of people that join the group later on and they're like, I don't know what to look for. And that's just one of those things that's so important. So, okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And as always, be kind, rewind.